Okay, identify the parent function, then sketch the given graph. Include parent if you want. State the domain, range, and asymptotes of each function. So let's just talk really quickly. My parent function, my b value is 3. So I know my parent function has to be 3 to the x. So parent function, 3 to the x. Domain on every single exponential is all real, so negative infinity to a positive infinity. So let's identify our asymptote. I'm not adding anything outside of my function, so my asymptote is at 0. So because my asymptote's at 0 and some other stuff, I know my range is going to be y and 0. So I've got to plug in some stuff. So this plus 1 up there, it's going to move it to the left how much? 1. So I know I'm going to be coming over here with my graph. Something like this. So here's the thing. If I plug in a negative 1, and I would get 3 to the negative 1 plus 1, which is 3 to the 0, which is then the value of 1. If I plug in 0, 0 plus 1, which would give me 3. 1, 2, 3. So I got a value there, and I'm going to have a value over here. Okay. I can use a graphing calculator to help me. I already have this graph. 3 to the x plus 1. So I have my graph. I'm looking there. I'm going to look at my table really quickly just for some awesome values. 1 is at 9, 0 is at 3, negative 1 was 1, which we already identified, 1/3. So I'm going to come back. Going to plot the 9 right here. So there we go. I'm coming. Horizontal asymptote doesn't cross it. I'm going to put my horizontal asymptote in right here. Zoom. And we're looking good. On our next one, very similar. So I have 3 to the x minus 5. So identifying the parent function. Parent function, my b value is 3. It's going to be raised to the x. Domain, all reals from a negative infinity to a positive infinity. So now I want to identify this. This is a minus 5. So my horizontal asymptote is equal to a negative 5. So here the range and a negative 5. So I'm going to come right here, negative 5. I'm drawing that in. So it doesn't matter really what's going on. If I plug in a 0, I should get a 1 out. That should give me that point right there. If I plug in a 1, I should get that value right there, and we're right there. Right? We should get something that's looking like this. So here's the thing. When I graph that, that's above y is equal to a negative 5. It's above my asymptote. So I'm going to come over here, clear that out. This equation right here, I have it in there, 3x minus 5. So let's look at the graph. It's coming in that negative 5 right here. That's the 4, and here we go. Looking at our table really fastly. At 0, it's a negative 4. At 1, it's a negative 2. At 2, it's a 4. So I come back over here, and then we have our values.